Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Let that sink in. How often do we find ourselves trapped in a whirlwind of thoughts? The constant noise, the indecision, the mental fog that paralyzes us. Overthinking isn't just frustrating, it's exhausting. We replay old conversations, imagine worst-case scenarios, and chase endless what-ifs until our mind feels like it's working against us. But today, that cycle ends. In this video, we're going to confront overthinking head-on with 10 Stoic strategies designed to help you reclaim your peace and take back control of your mind. If you're ready to clear the clutter and regain your inner clarity, make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Now let's begin. 1. Visualize overthinking as an external force. Overthinking doesn't arrive all at once. It slips in quietly, like a fog drifting into a clear sky. What starts as one small worry can quickly swell into a mental storm, hijacking your peace and direction. In a world where information hits us like hail in a storm, our minds can easily become overwhelmed by fears of what might happen or regrets about what could have been. Marcus Aurelius said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." And the first step toward improving that quality is to recognize that you are not your thoughts. Don't see your mind as the battlefield, see it as the mountain. Imagine overthinking as passing clouds. You are not the cloud, you are the mountain. Majestic, steady, unmoved. Your intrusive thoughts? They are just noise, just weather, and like all storms, they pass. This Stoic technique is not about resisting your thoughts, but about observing them without attachment. Picture each one as a bubble, rising, floating, and fading away. By doing this, you weaken their power over you. You train your mind to respond, not react. The more you practice this, the clearer the separation becomes between who you are and what you think. It's like wearing earplugs in a noisy crowd. You still know the chaos is there, but it no longer dictates your experience. This mental clarity is a skill, and like any skill, it strengthens with practice. So the next time you feel the fog rolling in, pause, breathe, see the thought, label it, and let it go. This is how you reclaim your mental space, one quiet, intentional moment at a time. 2. Take control by refocusing your energy. Have you ever caught yourself spiraling, stuck in a loop of what-ifs and worst-case scenarios? The same anxious thoughts replay over and over, draining your energy and clarity. It's like having dozens of browser tabs open in your mind, each blaring its own noise. And no matter how hard you try, you can't find the mute button. This mental chaos is a hallmark of modern life. In our effort to stay ahead, stay productive, stay informed, we overload. We multitask our thoughts. And slowly, without even realizing it, we lose command of our focus. But just like a cluttered room needs tidying, so does a cluttered mind. Taking back control starts with one decision: to redirect your energy. Seneca, one of Stoicism's great voices, offered timeless wisdom when he said, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence on the future." That idea is the key. When your mind is stuck in future fears, anchor yourself to the now. Shift your focus from what might happen to what is happening. Start with something simple. Clean your desk, take a walk, prepare a meal. Whatever demands your full attention, do that. You're not distracting yourself. You're reclaiming your mind. You're showing yourself that your attention is not a victim of chaos. It's a tool, and you decide where it goes. This is Stoicism in action, choosing where your energy flows. It's not about eliminating every anxious thought. That's unrealistic. But it is about recognizing when your thoughts no longer serve you and having the strength to redirect them. Like any discipline, this takes practice. But with each deliberate shift, your mind grows stronger, more focused, more resilient, and wave by wave, the tide of overthinking becomes less powerful until it's just background noise, fading into silence. 3. Embrace impermanence and practice letting go. Let's be honest. Our minds often trap us in a loop. We dwell on the past. We fixate on the future. We relive, rethink, and rehearse until we're emotionally exhausted. Overthinking is the mind's way of clinging to what we can't control, to what's already happened or what hasn't even occurred. And in that loop, we suffer. But Stoicism reminds us of a truth that brings quiet strength. Everything changes. And that includes our thoughts. Epictetus once said, "He who fears death will never do anything worthy of a man who is alive." At its core, this isn't about death. It's about impermanence. It's about the courage to live fully now without being enslaved by fears of the future or attachments to the past. Your thoughts, no matter how loud, are not permanent. They are passing. They are weather. And when you remember that, they lose their power. Here's a simple but powerful practice. Visualize letting go. Picture your thoughts as leaves floating down a river. You don't chase them. You don't grab them. You watch them drift. Or imagine clouds moving through the sky, shifting, dissolving, passing. This mental imagery isn't just calming, it rewires how you relate to your thoughts. It reminds you that you are not your thoughts. You are the observer. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means no longer giving weight to what no longer serves you. You're not suppressing, you're releasing. And with each release, you reclaim space, mental clarity, emotional freedom. This is more than a technique. It's a mindset, a way of living rooted in acceptance and presence. And once you begin to live with this awareness, you'll notice something profound. Beneath the noise, there's peace. It was always there. You just had to let go of the clutter to hear it. 4. Create a worry period. Worries have a way of lingering, subtle, constant, like the hum of a refrigerator. Always present, sometimes unnoticed, but never quite silent. They show up when you're working, when you're trying to be present with loved ones, or when you're lying in bed hoping for rest. It's as if your mind is a stage, and these worries are uninvited actors who refuse to exit. But what if you gave them their own time on the stage, and only then? Epictetus once said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." At first glance, it might seem unrelated, but it speaks to the courage of prioritizing inner peace, even if it means appearing unconventional to others. Worrying all day may seem responsible, but it robs you of your presence. True wisdom lies in managing worry, not indulging it. This is where the concept of a worry period becomes powerful. Set aside a short window, perhaps 20 minutes each afternoon, solely dedicated to facing your worries. During this time, write them down, analyze them. Ask yourself, what am I really worried about? How likely is this to happen? What action, if any, can I take? This practice often reveals the truth. Most worries are like shadows, looming large until you turn the light on. By consciously facing them, you remove their power to ambush your day. And when the period ends, you stop. You've given your mind the space to process, and now you gently return to your day with more clarity and control. This is not about eliminating worry. It's about containing it. It's about creating boundaries in your mind, just as you would in your life. When you compartmentalize in this way, your mental space becomes like a tidy room, orderly, peaceful, intentional. And in that space, you can think more clearly, live more fully, breathe more freely. 5. Break down overwhelming thoughts into actionable steps. When overthinking hits, it often feels like you're carrying a boulder, massive, immovable, pressing down on every part of your being. You feel paralyzed, trapped under the weight of everything you think you must solve right now. This pressure isn't just emotional, it's existential. In a world that demands perfection in work, relationships, appearance, and personal growth, the weight of expectation can suffocate clarity. But Marcus Aurelius gives us a profound shift in perspective. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. What if the very thing you're overthinking is your way forward? Here's the strategy. Break it down. Not into 10 solutions, not into grand plans, just the next step. Ask yourself, what's the one small thing I can do right now to move forward? It might feel insignificant, but it's not. That single step is how momentum begins. Think of it like untangling a knotted rope, one thread at a time, not with force, but with focus. You're not ignoring the complexity of your life. You're just refusing to let the size of it stop you. Each small action chips away at the boulder until it becomes something manageable, something human. With each step, you rebuild trust in yourself. You prove, not through theory, but through action, that clarity comes from doing, not from thinking about doing. Before you know it, you're not stuck anymore. You're moving. You're transforming fear into forward motion, and the once overwhelming storm becomes a series of small, navigable steps. 6. Shift your perspective to gratitude. The mind has a sneaky way of pulling us into a loop, focusing on what's missing, what could go wrong, or what hasn't happened yet. It's an endless scroll of imagined scenarios and unmet expectations. And it leaves us restless, discontent, disconnected from the life happening right in front of us. Overthinking thrives in the soil of lack. But gratitude thrives in the soil of now. Seneca reminds us, true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. That's not just philosophy, that's a lifeline. The antidote to overthinking isn't more thinking, it's perspective. Gratitude shifts your mental lens from scarcity to abundance, from what's missing to what's already here. Start simply. Name 3 things you're genuinely grateful for each day. It doesn't have to be profound. It could be your morning coffee, the way the sunlight hits your window, a laugh shared with a friend. This daily practice grounds you. It disrupts the cycle of what-if thinking and replaces it with appreciation for what is. Gratitude doesn't ignore your problems. It just reminds you they're not the only thing present. And slowly, that shift rewires your inner world. You begin to see not just what's wrong, but what's right. You begin to live not just with ambition, but with contentment. Gratitude doesn't just make you feel better, it makes you stronger. Because a mind anchored in appreciation is far harder to shake. It's a common human experience to have worries nagging at the back of our mind, persistent, like the low hum of a refrigerator. Always there, sometimes barely noticeable, but unmistakably present. These worries hijack our thoughts at any hour when we're working, enjoying time with friends, or trying to fall asleep. It's as if our mind is a stage, and these concerns are the uninvited actors who refuse to exit. But consider this wisdom from the Stoic teacher Epictetus. If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. At first glance, this quote may seem unrelated, but it's a powerful reminder. Prioritize your peace of mind over your fear of appearing naive or indifferent. A powerful technique to tame the chaos of worry is to create a designated worry period. Set aside 20 minutes each day, maybe in the afternoon, and give your concerns the spotlight. During this time, write them down, examine them, challenge them. Ask yourself, what am I really worried about? How likely are these scenarios? What's within my control? You'll often find that your worries are like shadows, larger and scarier from a distance, but much less threatening up close. And by giving them a scheduled moment, you teach your mind that worry has its place. but it doesn't get to dominate the entire day. Once your worry period ends, you move on. You've done your part. You've listened, understood, and now you can let go. This simple act of compartmentalizing helps you reclaim your day. It won't eliminate worry entirely, nothing can, but it will contain it. And when worry is contained, your mental space becomes clearer, calmer, lighter. 5. Break down overwhelming thoughts into actionable steps. Overthinking can feel like being pinned under a boulder, immovable, crushing, impossible to navigate. That weight often grows heavier under modern pressures. Career, relationships, personal growth, social status. It's easy to become paralyzed by the magnitude of what we feel we must manage. Marcus Aurelius offered timeless guidance. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. The 5th strategy is to transform overwhelming thoughts into clear, actionable steps. When your mind is tangled in complexity, don't try to solve the whole problem at once. Instead, ask, what's the very next thing I can do? Not 5 steps down the line, just the next one. By focusing on that single move, you shift from ruminating to responding. It's like untangling a knot, one loop at a time. You're not ignoring the complexity. You're choosing to face it methodically, not emotionally. Each small action builds momentum. And suddenly, what once felt like a mountain becomes a trail you've already climbed. You've moved from paralysis to progress, from chaos to clarity. 7. Focus on effort, not outcome. Overthinking often comes from our obsession with the future. Its what-ifs, its unknowns, its potential for failure. We live in an outcome-obsessed world. One that tells us if we can't guarantee success, we shouldn't even start. But Epictetus cuts through the noise. Don't explain your philosophy, embody it. The Stoics remind us, the outcome is never fully in your control. But your effort, your integrity, your choices, that's where your power lies. So when anxiety creeps in about results, stop and ask, am I doing my best? Am I acting with intention? Am I staying aligned with my values? This approach brings you back to the moment. It shifts your identity from someone trying to win to someone committed to living well. And that shift liberates you. You no longer fear what might happen. You take pride in how you show up. And in doing so, your journey becomes the reward. 8. Practice voluntary discomfort. Overthinking often arises when we're afraid of discomfort. We run mental simulations trying to prepare for every possible challenge. We cling to comfort and try to avoid surprise. But Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the art of living is more like wrestling than dancing. In other words, life requires contact with resistance. And the Stoics believed in facing that resistance intentionally. Voluntary discomfort is a powerful training tool. Cold showers, walking instead of driving, skipping a luxury, sitting with uncertainty. It's not about punishment. It's about proof, showing yourself you can handle more than your mind thinks. By voluntarily stepping into small discomforts, you train your nervous system to stay calm under pressure. You teach your mind not to panic at every challenge. You become stronger. And slowly, overthinking gives way to quiet confidence. 9. Reflect on the transience of life. When the storm of overthinking hits, it's often because we've zoomed in too closely, obsessing over details, spiraling through what-ifs, and inflating minor concerns into major crises. This microscopic view warps our perception. Small issues become mountains. Temporary discomforts feel permanent. And our mental energy gets drained by things that, in time, won't even matter. Seneca offers a powerful reminder. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. Each moment we spend overthinking is a moment not fully lived, a sliver of life lost, not to action or reflection, but to fear and mental noise. The Stoics teach us to step back and view life from a wide-angle lens. Ask yourself, will this worry matter a year from now? Does it deserve space in the limited time I have? Reflecting on the transience of life isn't about becoming morbid or emotionless. It's about clarifying priorities. It's about remembering that life is short, not to scare us, but to sharpen our focus. Overthinking fades when you zoom out. When you see how fleeting time is, you start choosing presence over paralysis, intention over indecision. Let life's impermanence inspire you, not to rush, but to be deliberate, to savor each moment, to give your attention to what truly matters. Because in the end, it's not the overanalyzed thoughts we'll remember. It's the moments we actually lived. 10. Don't solve every problem alone. Sometimes the worst part of overthinking is that it happens in isolation. We get stuck in a loop, trying to untangle thoughts that only tighten the more we pull. We become both the problem and the attempted solution, and that rarely works. Seneca once advised, consult your friend on all matters, especially those that concern yourself. He may see what your own self-love conceals. There's deep wisdom in that. Sometimes the clearest insight doesn't come from within. It comes from outside. A trusted friend, a wise mentor, a timeless book. By sharing what's on your mind, you create space for clarity, for feedback, for truth, unclouded by your own emotion. And that clarity often begins the moment you speak. Articulating your thoughts helps untangle them. Hearing another perspective helps you see what you couldn't on your own. This isn't weakness. This is strength through connection, the kind the Stoics deeply valued. A reminder that we're not meant to carry everything alone. So when your mind feels like a maze, don't keep wandering inside it. Reach out. Seek wisdom. Let another voice light the path you can't yet see. Because the problem might still be there, but you'll no longer face it alone. Which of these ideas struck a chord with you? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your reflection might be exactly what someone else needs today. If you found this helpful, give the video a like and consider subscribe. We're walking this path together, learning, refining, and applying the wisdom the Stoic masters have passed down. Let's keep going, with less noise, more clarity, and a deeper commitment to what truly matters.